Hey, what's up, YouTube? Thanks for tuning into this week's broadcast from hognose1.com. So, the topic of tonight's broadcast is going to be the true hypo morph of hognose. Now, to give distinction, true hypo is different from, albeit similar to, Evans hypo, Dutch hypo, which is actually the same as Evans, similar to toffee belly, similar to pistachio, and also similar to an even lesser known morph called smoke hypo. So it's unclear, at least to date, if any of those, especially those last four, are intermingled or compatible. So originally, true hypo was named by a gentleman named Tom Augusta from New Jersey. Now, the first time I caught wind of the morph was back in, 2008 or so. And Brett Bumgardner had told me that a man had a triple visual paradox. And it was a triple visual albino, normal, and hypo. And he was calling it the Brindle. And later on down through those lineages, the true hypo was developed. Now, it does have darker eyes, they're not black, and a darker tongue that I've seen some examples with dark purple to black tongues. They do have some black etching along the saddles on the back, but as they grow into adulthood, it fades out into an almost purple coloration. The belly also, where the black patches are, fades out really nice, and some of the examples have a purple or a muted or a smoke look to the bellies, hence the name from other similar morphs like smoke hypo. So it almost looks like they're constantly in blue, similar to, but not exactly the same as like the pistachio, at least one that you could be somewhat familiar with. So I really didn't fall in love with that morph or get too interested in it because it's always had a very heavy price tag. But when I was researching to compile the morph guide in 2018, I really fell in love with the morph and was really intrigued by it. And it was expensive. I mean, if you could even find one. They were rare then, just like they are right now. And a friend had one, and he said that he needed a hefty price tag for it. And actually, to get it, he said he would only sell it with an Anaconda 100% het male. So the price tag on that one was a whopping $4,000. And I really didn't have that money, but went ahead and started saving money for it. So the individual that I got was a green colored one. And to date, at least with Tom and some of the other ones, they'd never seen a yellow or green one. They'd always been red, orange, versions of tan, things like that. So it was something, pretty unusual, but kind of cool. The one I got was a sibling to the first combo morph called Pearl, which was a pink pastel true hypo. But unfortunately, shortly after I bought the male, I got the pair on December 28th of 2018 and dropped the male into hibernation, and he died pretty quick after that. And if you're like me, $2,000 on an animal that dies in 6 months is a real kick to the gut. And so it happens to all of us, right? I really wanted to give in and quit, and not to mention all the pressure that I was getting from other people that were working the True Hypo project, at least privately. So a lot of them were saying, well, that's probably not a true hypo, or that's just a pistachio, with the full intent to edge everyone out of the market so they could kind of hone into it. But nonetheless, I didn't give up. I just kept going. In 2019, I bred it to an Articonda, 50% sable, 50% albino. I had 2 big eggs of 6. The other 4 just died. And I thought, man, are we going to be looking at a morph that's got problems, or what do we got going on? Just to say, some of us breeders out here, it may look like we've got it all together, that everything's going to go great. Genetics are great. No, we have problems just like everybody else. So 2 big eggs were both Arctic, and I held on to both of those. The female I held on to, and she's like 300 plus grams right now and has not to date bred. Now, granted, that's only like 3 years, so not a huge deal, but I was hoping that she would breed at least by her second year. In late 2020, the original female true hypo bred with the son of the male that was the Arcticonda pos double het sunburst. And this time she laid 10 big eggs in a single clutch. There were 2 Arcticonda het true hypo, 1 Arctic het true hypo, 4 Arctic het males, and 2 just regular het males. The Arctic male from the 2019 clutch crossed with the Conda sister from late 2020 clutch this year. So it was a phenomenal clutch. We had Arctic true hypo, Arctic anaconda true hypo, Arctic anacondas, an Arctic, and what I believe is a sable Arctic true hypo. So cool clutch indeed with those. We've got a couple more eggs from another female that are set to hatch sometime in the first week of September. We'll see how those go, and then just kind of see what next year does for us with those. So the sable was a long shot because it's gone for a couple generations hidden, but the Arctic and true hypo, man, that was really cool. So world firsts, who knows? It's hard to know unless you communicate with everybody in every place to see if somebody didn't hatch out the world first. So I was in conversation with Jeff Galewood over at JMG because the same day my clutch hatched was the same day that his with the Super Arctic True Hypo hatched out. So that was kind of cool. And so he had told me that the Arctic True Hypo he hatched in the first clutch, a little over a month earlier, looked very similar to a Toffee Arctic. And I thought the same thing about mine. So it was kind of cool to see his and get pictures of his because that helped us to reiterate with one another that this was the exact same morph that was hatched. Definitely a cool trait to be working with. Stuff that wasn't really expected. Whenever you're breeding hognose snakes, it's imperative that you talk to people that are at least on your level or above your level. If you throw some opinions out there on a forum or on Facebook or, anywhere else like that, Discord or wherever, you'll get a lot of people saying, oh, it's this or that. You really want to talk to people that have been down that road already. Maybe those that have worked with a particular morph. I know Jeff is always a good one to talk to. Fathom Hogs, John Rice, I always talk to him and ask him about certain morphs. Dan Eby's been a good contact. There's a few others that I've gone to. So you really want to limit your conversations about morphs, and is this with those that have some experience? If somebody's crossed a river, you want to talk to them about how you can cross the river the same way, hypothetically speaking. In dealing with hidden hets, the storm cloud that we hatched out earlier in April of this year from a hidden het, I reached out to those 3 breeders for their thoughts just to kind of grasp, what they thought about it. Am I seeing things? I kind of thought for a little bit that the storm cloud that we hatched could have been an Arctic storm cloud, but they kind of helped to dispel that. And sometimes you never know and you want to hold on to an animal for a while so it can show its better, coloration because so many of them change so much. As I mentioned, a lot of the grief you get is generally from people that are jealous below your level of breeding or below your peers. Sometimes you'll get jealousy from peers, and then sometimes you even get hate and jealousy from people that are far beyond you in experience. It's a natural human emotion, and sometimes people are quick to really diss, what you got going on. I've had that going on for years. But to those who resist you, don't be angry. Just use it as a fuel. Some little known fact about me. 8 years ago when I was in hognose, I would have gotten bored with the hognose trade and left the market had there not been personalities that directly contacted me via email or Facebook Messenger or whatever and gave me a hard time and said, you don't know what you're talking about, or tried to keep me out of certain hognose projects, ostracizing, gossiping, whatever. Those things fueled my passion and my fire. So yeah, I would have been gone a long time ago had it not been. Just saying, if you're in those positions and somebody's telling you, you don't know what you're talking about, you're not doing any good, you can't be a big-time breeder, if they're trying to belittle you, don't worry about arguing face to face. That's what they want you to do. Just keep it silent and prove them wrong. Prove to them that you've got what it takes to stick in it and to stay there, and prove with your clutches that you have what it takes to stick around. I hope this broadcast has been an encouragement to you to see that long-term projects can come with resistance, but don't let that stop you. Keep pushing on to prove your projects, your combinations, your collections to the best of your ability, and accomplish your goals no matter what anybody else says or thinks. We hope the short tutorial has bettered your understanding of the single gene recessive trait, true hypo. We also hope that this trait will complement other morphs and enhance the overall look of future combos. Take it easy, guys, and see you next broadcast.